So I'd like to start off by thanking everybody here for coming today. And I wanted to talk to you today about Florida beaches. So I am a born and raised Floridian, and like most Floridians, I spent a lot of my time growing up going to the Florida beaches and being around the wildlife there, and so I have gained a lot of respect for the nature and the wildlife that's around our beaches. So I was really upset last summer when I went to Sanibel Island in Florida with my family, and I saw this family going into the water and getting handfuls of sand dollars, and then they took them back up on the beach and laid them out in the sand in the sun so that they could dry out, presumably so they could take them home. And that's upsetting to me because not only is it illegal on Sanibel to remove wildlife and shell on those beaches because they're protected by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, but also there's no reason to take those creatures out of the ocean and lay them on the sand to die. So after that incident, I got interested in the laws that are surrounding our Florida beaches and what they do to protect our wildlife. So I'd like to share that with you guys today so that you're informed. So one of the things I learned is that when you are recreationally harvesting marine life, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation, you have to have a saltwater fishing license. Without that, you can't take any living creatures out of the water. And when you're doing this recreationally, you're doing it with the intent of keeping these animals alive and healthy and providing them with an oxygenated environment. So when you're collecting them, you have to use humane gear such as scooping them up with your hands or using different kinds of nets that don't harm the fish. And there is a limit placed on the amount that you can collect. You can only get 20 combined marine fish and invertebrates per day per person. And within that, there's a limit of 5 of any one species of marine life. And this can only be over a period of 2 days. So you can only collect these animals for 2 days at a time before you have to stop. And there are some that are more protected, so you're not allowed to collect them at all, such as live starfish or conch or corals or crabs. And in my research, one species that I found that was especially protected by the laws that we have in Florida are sea turtles. So it is illegal to possess sea turtles, disturb them, harass them, and this goes not only for the turtles but for their nests and their eggs as well. So you can't obviously disturb them while they're laying their eggs. You can't go up and touch their nest and move the sand. You can't pick up the eggs and take them with you. You know, you're going to be paying a fine or serving jail time if you disturb them like that. And there's also special authorization needed for groups that want to do research. If they're doing it for scientific or conservational, educational means, they still have to get special permits and authorization from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Department in order to do those. And people that want to build along the coast, they go under scrutiny from Florida Fish and Wildlife and the Florida Department of Environmental Protection because building on the coast can disturb those nesting areas. So they have to get special permits to do that. And also, one thing that's really harmful for sea turtles is light at night. So a lot of counties have put ordinances in place to try to prevent light from reaching the beaches at night. Because when those sea turtles are coming up and laying their eggs, it's really disorienting for them, and especially for the hatchlings. Once they hatch at night, they rely on the light from the moon to lead them to the ocean, and if there's light coming from other areas, they don't know where they're going. So it's really important that we keep the light off the beaches. So some of the ordinances they have in place to help that is you're not allowed to have campfires or bonfires on the beaches because they're too bright, and you can't drive motor vehicles on the beaches because the headlights are too bright and they disturb the turtles and they don't know where they're going. So I do encourage everybody to go out to the beaches and enjoy the beaches and everything that they have to offer and see the beautiful wildlife. But now that you're informed about the laws, if you please be mindful about them so that we can continue to conserve the wildlife and what we have here in Florida. So thank you all for coming today and being informed about Florida beaches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure to make those changes.